swing to an open shot.
Clark on the drive, gets inside and lays it in. The league's third leading scorer in Caitlin Clark. Spinning on Bueckers, they go one-on-one and Clark wins the matchup. Mitchell on the attack, cutting through the defense. Ty Harris is 4-4-4.
Grab your popcorn, because what happened at Gainbridge Fieldhouse tonight was arguably the most electric back-and-forth game of the entire 2026 WNBA season.
Clark fires, and it goes down!
Caitlin Clark was pulling up from logo range before Dallas could even get a defender set.
Assisted baskets for Enrique, the lowest of her career. As Clark steps back and drills it.
She was threading pinpoint dimes through traffic, delivering passes before her teammates had even finished their cuts.
Dallas 2 for 13. Cunningham gets in behind the defense, and Clark found her.
She went 9 for 14 on 2-point attempts, converting an incredible 90% of them.
Score in Caitlin Clark, spinning on Bueckers. They go one-on-one, and Clark wins the match.
She finished through contact every time she attacked the rim, refusing to be denied.
5 players outside the three-point line.
Clark shot fakes the three, and gets to the rim.
And then there was Paige Bueckers on the other end, answering nearly every Clark possession as if she had a personal response to every basket Indiana scored. Clark had 29. Bueckers had 29. It was a non-stop back-and-forth battle, and honestly, it couldn't have been more fitting.
Bueckers pulls up and connects.
Both players refused to back down through the first 3 quarters, matching each other possession after possession. Then the fourth quarter arrived, and everything changed. Tyisha Harris came off the bench and caught fire, knocking down all 5 of her 3-point attempts.
Harris is 3 for 3.
She was a perfect 5-4-5 from beyond the arc, scoring 15 unexpected points that nobody in the building saw coming. Aaliyah Boston also dominated the offensive glass, grabbing 5 offensive rebounds and turning them into 8 crucial second-chance points.
League's top 3-point shooter in Boston backs her way in, spins, can't get it to go, but pulls down her own rebound and lays.
Indiana Fever 98, Dallas Wings 87. And stay right here, because we're about to break down exactly what Caitlin Clark did in the fourth quarter that completely shut down the Bueckers conversation once and for all. This is Women Hoops. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button right now, because this is one story you'll want to know every detail of.
Extra pass, and Cunningham dials up a 3.
I got a feeling. Get ready to heat up in here. Back-to-back.
Caitlin Clark put the Bueckers debate to rest in the fourth quarter, finishing with 29 points on 11 of 18 shooting from the field. She shot an impressive 61% overall and converted an incredible 90% of her 2-point attempts.
A tie game here midway through the third. Clark gets by Sims, and the footwork in a finish.
She went 9-4-10, dished out 10 assists for a double-double, and added 9 fast break points on 4 attempts, shooting a perfect 100% in transition.
Bueckers, dangerous pass, intercepted by Clark, and she'll take it the distance.
She drew 7 fouls in the fourth quarter, creating the clearest separation possible between herself and Paige Bueckers. For the first 3 quarters, the game looked like the most compelling individual rivalry matchup of the season.
Right at the rim.
Bueckers, transition 3.
Clark and Bueckers spent the first 3 quarters trading baskets, assists, and big moments, with Gainbridge Fieldhouse constantly switching between explosive celebrations and moments of anticipation. Both players had 29 points heading into the fourth quarter, making the matchup look completely even on paper. But numbers alone cannot measure what Caitlin Clark does when the game reaches its most important moments. The fourth quarter statistics tell the real story. Indiana outscored Dallas 35-21, and Clark's fast break production took off in the final period. She scored 9 transition points on 4 attempts, converting at a perfect 100%. Clark was reading Dallas's defensive fatigue in real time, pushing the pace before the Wings could get set and attacking the rim with a burst that can disappear when her body is compromised. Tonight, however, she was operating at full speed. Every time Dallas tried to slow the game down and match Indiana's physicality, Clark was already ahead of them in transition before the defense could recover. Her 10 assists alongside 29 points are what made this performance so difficult to defend. Clark wasn't simply scoring. She was creating opportunities for everyone around her. She found Aaliyah Boston in the post when Dallas collapsed on her drives, hit Kelsey Mitchell on the wing when defenders overplayed Clark's isolation game, and delivered skip passes to Tyisha Harris in the corner at exactly the right moment. 10 assists with just 1 turnover gave her a remarkable 10-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, representing some of the cleanest decision-making she has displayed all season. And here is the biggest difference between Clark and Bueckers right now, and what this game made impossible to ignore. When the game demanded a takeover in the fourth quarter, Clark elevated her level. She accelerated, demanded more from herself, and delivered when Indiana needed her most. Bueckers finished with 29 points and was +7 through 3 quarters, but ended the game at -7. The fourth quarter changed everything. While Bueckers struggled to make the same impact, Clark helped orchestrate a 35-point Indiana quarter that ultimately separated the two stars and made it clear who controlled the game when it mattered most. Kelsey Mitchell also deserves credit for battling through a difficult shooting night. She finished with 23 points on 9 of 21 shooting from the field, or 43%. The efficiency was below her recent standard, but she still found ways to contribute through physical play, drawing 7 fouls and converting 4 of 5 free throw attempts. She scored 12 points in the paint on a night when her perimeter shot wasn't falling consistently, showing her ability to find alternative ways to score when her primary weapon isn't working. Her 1 of 7 performance from 3 explains why Indiana's offense had to adjust during the middle quarters. Mitchell's perimeter shooting normally takes significant defensive pressure away from Clark, so when that shot disappears, Indiana's offensive scheme has to adapt in real time. Even so, Mitchell produced 23 points and drew 7 fouls in a comfortable Indiana victory. That kind of floor, even on an off-shooting night, is incredibly valuable. She draws contact, earns free throws, finishes in the paint, and continues finding ways to contribute. The box score always tells part of the story, even when the shooting chart doesn't.
Tonight, 2 starters typically for Dallas.
Harris.
The supporting cast was the difference maker in this game, with Tyisha Harris and Aaliyah Boston delivering huge performances when Indiana needed them most. Harris was nearly unstoppable from beyond the arc, going a perfect 5-for-5 from three-point range and scoring 15 points off the bench. It was the kind of performance the Dallas Wings had little preparation for because Harris is not typically the first player highlighted on an opposing scouting report. When she enters during garbage time, she is usually manageable. But when she steps onto the floor in the fourth quarter with the game still competitive and knocks down 5 straight three-pointers without missing, she becomes a nightmare for any coaching staff trying to adjust on the fly. Those 15 bench points from Harris represent exactly the type of secondary scoring that separates this Indiana team from the version that struggled in close games earlier in the season. Clark and Mitchell no longer have to shoulder the offensive burden on every possession because Indiana now has players coming off the bench who can suddenly explode for a perfect 5-for-5 shooting performance when the team needs someone to step up. Aaliyah Boston was equally important, recording a double-double with 16 points and 10 rebounds. 5 of those rebounds came on the offensive glass and directly produced 8 second-chance points. 5 offensive rebounds turning into 8 points can completely change the mathematics of a game. Dallas possessions that should have ended after a missed shot instead became additional opportunities for Indiana. Boston consistently attacked the glass with physicality, positioning, and determination, and Dallas simply had no reliable answer for her. 8 second-chance points generated from 5 offensive rebounds is more than simple hustle. It is a form of dominance on the glass that directly translates into points and gives Indiana another major advantage.
Dallas 2 for 13. Cunningham gets in behind the defense.
Sophie Cunningham continued to provide a strong physical and two-way presence, finishing with 5 points and 3 assists in limited minutes, including a fast break conversion that shifted the momentum at a crucial point in the game. Michaela Timpson also made an impact off the bench, adding 6 points and 4 rebounds, while Myisha Hines-Allen contributed defensively and secured 3 rebounds during her minutes on the floor. Indiana's bench ultimately made a major difference, outscoring Dallas's reserves 24-11. That 13-point advantage, fueled largely by Tyisha Harris exploding from three-point range, helped transform what had been a competitive matchup into an 11-point Indiana victory. When a team can get that kind of production from its bench, it becomes much harder for an opponent to keep pace for 4 quarters.
Is still settling in here a bit as Bueckers finds some space and gets the roll. Clark.
Paige Bueckers deserves the full, honest picture. She finished with 29 points on 11 of 21 shooting, went a perfect 5-for-5 from the free throw line, and added 6 assists and 2 steals. Those are impressive numbers, without question. For 3 quarters, she looked exactly like the player her supporters have been hyping all season. But then the fourth quarter arrived. Bueckers scored just 4 points while Indiana exploded for 35, and she finished the game at -7, the killer instinct expected from a player at her level. The ability to take control when the game reaches its most decisive moments was missing when Dallas needed it most. The Bueckers conversation will continue because she is undeniably talented and capable of producing spectacular individual performances. But the bigger question surrounding her isn't about her skill. It's about what happens in the fourth quarter, when a lead needs to be protected or erased and every possession carries maximum importance. Tonight, the answer looked similar to what we've seen in other high-pressure moments this season. Clark elevated her game in the fourth quarter, while Bueckers faded. The difference isn't simply points, shooting efficiency, or overall talent. It's the level of competitive intensity when the game is on the line, and right now, that is where Clark has the edge. So, what comes next? Atlanta Dream and the Angel Reese rivalry. The Indiana Fever are now 21-11 after winning 7 of their last 9 games, and they are playing some of their most complete basketball of the season. The bench is contributing, Clark is performing at an elite level, and Aaliyah Boston is providing the interior presence that helps balance Indiana's entire offensive system. Most importantly, the fourth quarter execution that cost Indiana several games earlier in the season is starting to look much more reliable. Atlanta is next on August 16th, and that matchup carries significance beyond the standings because Angel Reese will be on the other side. Reese is the same player who stood over Clark and mocked her following the flagrant foul earlier this season, and their rivalry has remained one of the most talked about individual storylines in the WNBA since Clark entered the league. Atlanta also swept Indiana earlier this season, handing the Fever 2 consecutive losses that exposed weaknesses in Indiana's defense and late-game execution. But this Indiana team looks completely different from the version we saw earlier in the season. Clark is healthy, the bench is producing, Boston is anchoring the interior, and the fourth quarter execution that helped dismantle Dallas is becoming a genuine strength. The question heading into August 16th is whether this improved version of Indiana is ready to return the favor against Atlanta and reclaim the season series. And when Caitlin Clark steps onto the court against Angel Reese with everything that has happened between them this season, could this be the most compelling individual rivalry in women's sports right now? Drop your answer in the comments, and make sure you're here for the Atlanta breakdown, because that matchup could be something special.